How's it going, everybody? I'm the big guy. Welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. Today we'll be going over the news of the week, followed by your Raw and SmackDown reviews. Then we will go into a review of Halloween Havoc 1991. That'll be followed by a What Happened To, a return to that segment. Then, of course, your WWE Drink of the Week, followed by a reading from the Book of Rules. And then finally, you will have the Battle Droid of the Week. But let's stop wasting time and get into the news this week. Are Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt going to Impact Wrestling? That is the talk, as Impact is making a huge play for Bray Wyatt, as he has been given so much. They're apparently offering him $1 million contract per year. That is what I'm hearing. Dave Meltzer is reporting it. I don't know if it's true. You have to take it with a grain of salt. Apparently, Braun Strowman is going to Impact Wrestling, but no one truly knows. It has yet to be confirmed. But that is the talk going around, so maybe there's a new player in the game. After all the Black Tuesday releases from WWE, Impact Wrestling made a huge play in signing most of them. AEW also made a play, but Impact made the bigger play. So that is the talk. We'll have to wait and see. And is Shane McMahon done with WWE? Apparently, his talent contract has run out. He will remain as a backstage official, but his contract as a talent has run out. There is no talk on whether he will re-sign as a talent or just maintain a backstage presence. No one knows. And finally, in your final story this week, a little good news. Batista has decided to adopt a pit bull from a broken home. The pit bull was beaten savagely. It had bruised stomach. It had scars on its underbelly. And he has offered a $5,000 reward to whoever reports this piece of shit to basically animal safety. So hopefully someone finds that piece of shit and reports that guy immediately. Whoever did this to his dog deserves to be arrested. And that is your news this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go in to your SmackDown review. SmackDown kicked off with the first round of the WWE Draft this week. That's right, it is that time of the year again. Time to announce who will be going to what brand for the WWE. SmackDown kicked it off with its first pick, Roman Reigns. The Universal Champion is staying on SmackDown, while Raw picked the WWE Champion Big E. After SmackDown chose the Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. That's right, Charlotte Flair is going to SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen. The Raw Women's Championship is switching brands, and Raw chose the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. After this, the Tribal Chief came out to address his show and told him SmackDown belongs to him and it is time for him to be acknowledged. After this, Brock Lesnar came out and attacked Roman Reigns and the Usos, delivering suplexes and an F5 to Roman Reigns, and at Crown Jewel, it will be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia. WrestleMania caliber match, as Pat McAfee called it. But if I remember, this match is main evented 2 WrestleManias, 1 SummerSlam, 2 if you count the Fatal 4-Way with Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and also a Crown Jewel event already in a steel cage. So, this match isn't as big as they're hyping up to be, in my opinion. After this, Charlotte Flair got interviewed and saying she is the most celebrated woman in WWE, and she is celebrating being the first woman in the draft, being drafted overall, and that she will now dominate SmackDown. It is now her land. After this, we got a match between Happy Corbin and Kevin Owens with Riddick Moss at ringside for Baron Corbin and his new ring name, Madcap Madcap Moss. What the flying fuck? Who thought that was a good name for him? Hey, Madcap Moss. That makes me smile inside. Yay. Baron Corbin would actually pick up the win after a little distraction, but he would pin Kevin Owens to win the match. Going over Kevin Owens, I guess it is almost confirmed Kevin Owens will be leaving WWE in January, I believe, is when his contract is up. After this, we got the round 2 draft picks where SmackDown chose the Scottish Warrior himself, Drew McIntyre, and Raw chose the Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro. SmackDown then went out and chose the New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. They have split the New Day again. What the fuck? Who thought that was a good idea after just reuniting him with Big E? I thought that was stupid. After this, Raw chose the Rated R Superstar Edge. Drew McIntyre was then interviewed backstage saying he's excited and only has his eye on one thing, and that is Roman Reigns' Universal Championship. I guess we have the next challenger after Brock Lesnar. After this, Edge came in a promo and said that he is the only person on the SmackDown roster that was on the very first episode of SmackDown in 1999. And it will always feel like home, but he is excited to go to Raw and looking forward to seeing who his new opponents will be. After this, Edge called out Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins appeared on a screen in Edge's house. This was hilarious to me. By the way, I'm going to open a beer here. Good beer. Needed that to wet my whistle, ladies and gentlemen. Seth Rollins appeared in Edge's house, and this was basically, if anyone has ever listened to the Eminem song Fall, this was Seth Rollins to a T. Seth Rollins showed up in Edge's house, poured him a drink, and this is where it goes into the comparison for Fall for me. In the song Fall, Eminem basically says, "You better leave me the hell alone. I'll go into the house you own, put my feet up, maybe make some calls on your phone, put my feet up on your couch, go and fetch me the remote." And this is exactly what Seth Rollins did. Made a phone call, drank Edge's orange juice, turned on the TV, put his feet up in Edge's recliner. Edge was clearly distraught and actually made a reference to Cash and Wilder from AEW, the FTR, made a phone call to Beth Phoenix saying, "Hey, I'm calling them right now. They should be on their way." The only more badass thing Edge could have done is saying, "I'm calling Christian. He's on his way." That would have been fucking hilarious. It just goes to show Edge doesn't give a flying fuck. After this, we got a Carmella versus Liv Morgan match, which Carmella debuted her new look, which is a diamond-studded mask. That's right, Carmella is wearing a mask now. She does not. It looks so stupid. This match ended in no outcome. It was just a brawl. I don't know why they did that. After this, we got the third round draft picks, which SmackDown used their first pick on Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Raw uses it on the Raw Tag Team Champions. And then a shout out to NXT. SmackDown chooses the North American Champion Isaiah Swerve Scott and Hit Row to SmackDown. I don't know what's going to go on with the title now. Maybe it will be defended on SmackDown. I don't know, but that's a cool little thing. And Raw chose the Bearcat himself, Keith Bearcat Lee. Cool little pick. That was awesome to see. After this, we got a tag team, an 8-man tag team match with the New Day and the Street Profits versus Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Otis, and Chad Gable. New Day and Street Profits would pick up the win here. Then we got the fourth round of draft picks, which SmackDown used its first pick on Naomi. The Glow is staying on SmackDown. Maybe she'll be a part of the bloodline going forward. Then Raw would use its next pick on Dominic and Rey Mysterio. SmackDown would then choose the Enigma himself, Jeff Hardy. And Raw would choose from NXT, Austin Theory. Great pick there. I'm excited to see Austin Theory back on the red brand. He was on it going into WrestleMania 36, where he would have a tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Championships with Angel Garza versus the Street Profits. But his push felt too like it wasn't enough time in NXT for him to hone his WWE character. He was then cut from the tag team and put in Seth Rollins' stable with Buddy Murphy and the Authors of Pain, AOP, and the Authors of Pain would then be released. Buddy Murphy would be released, and after apparently a scandal involving Austin Theory, which was never proven. I do not know. I have not followed up on it ever since. Austin Theory was sent inappropriate messages to an underage girl, but that was never followed up on. Apparently, it was just a rumor, and Austin Theory was kind of sent back to NXT as a punishment, where he honed his character with The Way and Johnny Gargano, and now he is back in the main roster. I'm excited to see him now because I felt he has been given enough time to really max out his character. After this, Jeff Hardy was being interviewed saying he looks forward to being on the SmackDown brand, but was interrupted by the man, the myth, the legend, Brock Lesnar, who said he is a free agent because his good friend Paul Heyman, which means he's going to do whatever he wants to do. Very cool way for him to really establish, like, I could go anywhere I want, challenge for any title. Maybe we'll finally get that Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar match sometime down the road. Maybe, I don't know. And after this, we got a backstage segment with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, where Roman Reigns got angry at Paul Heyman and told him to make sure on Monday the Usos are drafted to SmackDown. After this, we got the main event of Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Sasha Banks would defeat Bianca Belair with a little help from the SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. After this, both women would be attacked by the newly drafted Raw Women's Champion, now on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair, and her and Becky would stand tall with their titles. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your SmackDown review for this week. Very good SmackDown, very good draft. There were parts of it that I felt were like, why do you need to do this? Why? I just don't know. There were some things that made me scratch my head, like breaking up the New Day, but there were also some things I was like, oh, that's cool, like putting in NXT. I felt the picks from NXT were very good. Now let's move on to your Raw review. Raw kicked off with the SmackDown Women's Champion announcing she is the first pick for the red brand, and she will be moving back to Raw with the draft. After this, Charlotte Flair came out trying to antagonize Becky Lynch, and basically then Bianca Belair came out, and Becky kind of played them both to fight each other later in the night. It was announced then there will be the main event, Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair, for the first time ever on Raw. Because people were saying, oh, first time ever match, but didn't they fight in NXT? And I'm like, no, they announced it was the first time ever on Raw. That kind of pissed me off because people were giving WWE shit for that when they shouldn't have. Just my opinion. After that, they also announced there will be a women's tag team championship match with Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley versus Natalya and Tamina. After this, and then they announced there will be a United States Championship match. This was very cool to see. Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest, and Damian Priest would defend against Jeff Hardy and would win. Very good match. These two have a banger. And then they would be... Austin Theory would come out and actually announce he is on Raw, and he would want to take a selfie with Jeff Hardy because he is a huge fan. Jeff Hardy would then let him take the selfie, but would be attacked by Austin Theory, confirming